gone with me a lot, so I want to know what you are seeing relationally in design and what you'd like to see, what you're seeing now, and what are some of the solutions that you're seeing with clients.
What it feels like to me, and this could just be what's around me, is I feel this kind of pressure cooker the closer we get to 2027,
Hmm.
where so many people are suddenly where in the past they could get away with not self stuff, like can't do it anymore.
Hmm.
And it's just becoming increasingly really obvious. And
Hmm.
it's interesting because it's almost like it's happening without them even trying to have awareness. It's just there are so
Hmm.
many people right now, like I cannot do that old stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We've got we've got it. It's the dissolving of the old.
Hmm.
It's coming through. There's a lot of dissolving of the old, and really it's kind of like there's been curtains, across the planning curtains pulled over everybody, and now, of course, this phoenix is burning everything down, and the truth is coming out about a lot of things, and that's not just globally. That's also in relationship, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's even like people will try to go through the motions of
Hmm.
maintaining a not self relationship, and then it's
Hmm.
like you can't anymore, versus maybe a couple of years ago you could sort
Yeah,
of
yeah,
wiggle through it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You totally could do. Yeah, yeah. There was a things were definitely different a few years ago in terms of what could like be tolerated in relationship when you're in design.
Yeah.
Um, of course, the longer somebody's in their process, the more difficult that becomes. So I think that you're seeing it, I'm seeing it as well. Is these relationships that aren't correct for people are falling apart. Um, and in ways that's not like that's definitely not a bad thing, right? Because it makes space for Amanda made it. Um,
Amanda's here.
yeah, Amanda's here. We
Hi.
started later. So,
Yes. And then hi, quad right projector here. Special interest in relationships. Perfect. Hi. Hi. Hi, Amanda.
glad you're here. We could use the support. Two queer individuals.
Some tribal support.
Yeah. Yes. We need it. We need it.
Fourth
Um,
lines.
fourth line. Yeah, we're all fourth lines. What are y'all talking about now? Oh, we're talking about relationships. So, questions about that? I mean, you talk about that a lot too, Amanda.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it's important to remember that just because it's talking about relationships, like it doesn't mean intimate relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we're in a relationship with everybody in our life, someone at work, anyone in your family, friends, acquaintances, like relating, you know,
Mm-hmm.
comes in a lot of different forms. So it's not limited to just intimacy.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's interesting because in design, like when we say relationships, we are talking about overall. We're not talking about just the romantic, you know, idealized relationship. We're talking about all relationships because
Mhm.
any relationship can throw you off, and any relationship can also um, keep you in line. The right relationships. Um, so yeah, it is important to definitely clarify that. I always want to clarify because people hear relationship and they just think about their partner or their lover, and it's like, no, you've got to have the right friends. You've got to have because
Yeah.
any of them can throw you off.
Mhm.
I know, we've seen it with each other.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, and I think there's people who are really interested in relationships, and that's something that is really in our movie. And then there's other people who are not as interested, but it doesn't mean it's any less important in their lives, you know? Like,
Hmm.
I think some people kind of roll their eyes when they hear about relationship stuff, and I'm like, well, you actually might need it, you know, more
That
than you
actually
think
is
you do.
probably what you need the most.
Hmm. Yeah.
I mean, it's so much of projector education is relationships. And people will come about so many things and it ends up being relationships.
Yeah.
Amanda says all relationships are so important, especially for projectors. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. We were just talking about this earlier about how, like, I feel like with projectors, sometimes you can cut back on relationships and it actually can help even more than
Hmm.
trying to, like, bring in new people. You know, sometimes you just
Hmm.
remove one thing or distance, have less frequency of something, and then it creates this space for something else to come in.
Yeah.
But we can't really have that space when our attention is fully like committed, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, attention in the wrong place,
Hmm.
which that can be a difficult thing because you can deeply love somebody and know that they're taking up your attention where it shouldn't. And it's like every type has their own kind of version of that. You know, if a generator's not responding to somebody, that's a problem. You know, and they're continuing to try and put forth effort where they're not responding, and like that's a problem, right? The manifestors just getting resistance, which they always get resistance, but if somebody is actively, giving them more resistance, like that's going to be a problem.
Hmm.
Reflectors are going to have a problem when they do at some level need to be recognized and they need to be invited, they need to be initiated, and they need to be respected in their moon cycle. Um, so we do have there are all of these ways that we have in relationship and making sure the relationship is healthy.
Hmm. Yeah. Keeping bitterness in check is huge for projectors.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. The bitterness.
Yeah.
Welcome everybody. This is a we're just talking about relationships. We're both right. So any questions that you have are
Let's see. We had one from Sacred Soul. Let's see. One for profile, friendship is everything. So I'm going to read this question, love, if you want to answer.
yeah.
A question around energy absorption and shielding. Is there any way to shield our energy in real time, or can only our strategy and authority protect us?
Only a strategy and authority can protect you. There's nothing that can keep an electromagnetic field that's created by a bioform. There's no way to block that. So strategy and authority. It's the beginning, the middle, and the end. It is always in motion. That's not something that you can never choose to not follow that and have good results.
I also think, like, in the moment, being aware of what you're taking in, like, if you can actually feel it, like
Hmm.
for me, I can feel like solar plexus energy. So
Hmm.
having the awareness of like my solar plexus is getting destroyed with an
Hmm.
unhealthy solar plexus around me,
Yeah.
and doing what you can with that, like like removing yourself if you need to, as opposed to like staying there and not actually being aware of the
Hmm.
energetics.
Hmm.
Like you can't really be like, I'm just gonna stay in this and be strong, like it's gonna wreak havoc on
Hmm.
your system, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. You need the right conditioning too. Can't just get out of. Can't just say I'm going to decondition the center
Yeah.
and pull out of those auras because you're going to need a healthy contrast to see what it's like to be around a healthy one. So
Yeah.
now we've got a question here. What if you lived your whole life as not self and your relationships was benefiting from that you were friends with you, benefiting from slash was friends with you because they thought it was yourself, not self. Should you stay in those? So I have many friends who are not self, many friends, and not only many friends that are like friends that I've had for a little while. These are friends that I've had since I was like 5, 6, 7, and they're still my friends. Like I can still call them up anytime. I can still spend time with them. You know, I have solid bonds with those friends, and I can do that because they don't have any problem with the way that I live my life now. They're respectful of the way that I live my life now. They probably think I'm a little bit snooty because I have to get invited to everything. Not everything, but there's certain things where I don't really want to go unless I'm invited, even though I know I can just show up because the relationship has been established. So I don't need an invitation to show up to, you know, this event or that event because I've known them for decades, right? But if they didn't respect my process, they didn't respect my authority, then that's a different story. So it comes down to, do these people respect your inner authority and the way that you are living your life now? If they don't, then they don't respect you. So a lot of people will, once you've entered into your process and you're really serious about this, a lot of people will just kind of phase out, really, without you needing to really do much.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I think it really depends on who it is as well. Like there's some
Mm-hmm.
relationships you may not be able to like sever it completely, but the
Mm-hmm.
frequency of being able to connect with that person. Because
Mm-hmm.
if every time you talk to like a member of your family, you're super bitter, and then you're bitter for days, and then you're messed up for days, and you can't maintain your life, it's going to have to be less and less and less. And
Yep.
that's why Amanda brings up boundaries is always an ongoing conversation.
Mm-hmm.
For projectors, it's key. Like we have to become boundary masters, which is not easy to do, but we have to know when to say no.
Yeah. Even
Yeah.
more than that, we have to become personal policy masters.
Mm,
You have to know
yeah.
how people in your circle operate, what they need, what they don't need. Like, not that we need to take care of everybody, but you do need to, at some level, there are things that you need to understand about the people that are close to you. Um, because for the projector, our lives, our success, our well being, which is our success, is so reliant upon our relationships. Like the right relationships will will move you into experiencing success one way or another, and the wrong relationships will take you out of it. And really, it only takes like one friend that's taking up too much attention. It really only takes one. One
Mm-hmm.
is enough to throw the whole thing off. So we have to be really vigilant. I'm not saying, and as a projector, it's never about cutting people off. It's never about any of that stuff. It's it's about seeing who can respect the way that you live your life and who can't. You rarely need to like really cut somebody out of your life. Like it's such a rare thing as a projector because it's like cleans up, as your frequency cleans up, you'll retain the people that are for you.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Amanda adds, that's true. I have a lot of not self friends, but those who stay are the ones who continue to respect and honor my change in process.
So,
Everyone else fell away for sure.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What's going on, Ben? It's good to see you. Sacred Soul Artistry says you don't need invitations if you have an established relationship. Is that a fourth line? Never heard that before. Yeah, I mean, it it's something that it takes a lot of discernment. It takes a lot of practice. So at first, and this is something I can't teach you, like can't teach you here, but I'm gonna do my best. At first, you wanna hardline everything. Like I still hardline things. So, you know, if I've established a relationship with somebody, and it's truly an established relationship, this is not an acquaintance or anything like that, and they're having a party, okay? They're having something that's going on. I've already established a relationship with that person. I don't need a specific invitation from them to go to that party. I already have a relationship with them. Do I want one? Is it going to feel better? Yeah, it's going to feel better. So it depends on how that relationship is. Is it somebody that you're, you're not going to go and feel bitter, right? Is it because if it's somebody that you want a relate you have a relationship with, but you are not going to feel bitter. The only way you're not going to feel bitter is if you receive an invitation. Then there's a problem. I have friends. I have the same friends that I've had since I was six. 5 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old, you know, that's 3 decades of my life that I've known them, right? And so I know that if they're doing something, that's my family. I'm closer to them than most people are their siblings, than almost anybody I know is to their siblings. You know, that's my family. So yeah, of course I can. If it's somebody that's my friend that I don't have a super established relationship with, yeah, I'm gonna need an invitation. And even when people are even when people are close, the invitation is still really good. The expectation of the invitation, that's where we run into a lot of the problem too. You know, so you hardline it. The way that I did, I hardlined it. I said, I'm not doing anything without an invitation. You know, and I saw the results of that, and the results of that were great. Um, and I'm still very hardline. And these are instances that are very specific. Think count the people that you're still close to, that you've been close to for two genetic cycles, so 15 years, um, and that you could still call up, or they could still call you, and it would be like nothing ever changed. You know, don't need those invitations. Um, yeah, that's an established relationship, just like your family is an established relationship. So it depends on the relationship. Some relationships, there's going to be events, and I'm talking about events. Like, I'm not saying, like this, there's discernment and context that's needed in all of this, which is why I can only go into so much of it here. Um, you know, I've been in this game for a while now, and I've been educating in this game for like half a decade, projectors, more than anybody has. So I've seen all of the the ways that things can go. And my approach is always extreme. It's always radical, and it works. So when I mention this, I'm talking about people that I've known for decades, that have never done me dirty, that have never betrayed me, that have never none of that, that have been 100% loyal to me for decades. That's a different type of relationship. But then there are relationships that I have with projectors that that are in the process, that are in design, that also, am I going to invite them, or are they going to invite me? Yeah, totally. And also, I would not be weird about those specific projectors if they're like, hey, I'm coming to where you are. I want to see you. I wouldn't blink like a second.
Mhm.
I mean, Amanda, Vallia, like we have projectors in here that it's like that with, like, you know what I mean? But those are very specific relationships with deep bonds. It's not a fourth line specific thing. It is going to be deeper with fourth lines faster, because of the way that we bond. But I have fifth line friends that it's like that. I've traveled a bunch with Amy Lee, the astrologer. Um, traveled a bunch with Lilith Butler. I have projectors that are in my life that it's like that. But those relationships, that is very specific. It's very specific. It's something that hasn't even been talked about. You know, where the relationship is set up like that. Um, but I am speaking on it because as a projector, you don't need to be invited to every little thing. Like if you have a partner, or you have a lover, like you you don't need to wait for them to invite you to every little thing. You don't need to wait to be invited to speak on something. Those things are, there's manipulation tactics that people have used in design to disarm and disempower people by distorting the way that strategy and authority works, specifically for projectors. And so, you know, it's about how close that relationship is, how deep the investment in that relationship is, in terms of how reciprocal it is. Um, yeah. So context is really important there. Hardline it, go extreme because that's the only way. Once you've entered into those relationships, then you build those investments, and those relationships are differentiated. That's another thing that you'll see in design, is that your relationships are not going to be homogenized. They're not going to be classified through homogenization. They're not going to operate through homogenize, like it's they're not. Um, so yeah, Valia, do you have things you want to add?
I also think sometimes it's just a simple conversation to be had with
Mm-hmm.
somebody. Like maybe you haven't known them for that
Mm-hmm.
long, but I've had experiences where I've just talked to a friend, and there was a time I had a friend and like something they didn't invite me that seemed so obvious, like why didn't you invite me? And I asked them and they were like, I thought you knew you would got come. They were like, why weren't you there? And I
Yeah.
was like, well, you didn't like roll out the red carpet for me. They're like, well, I can't do that every other day. Like
Yeah.
you need to know I want you there all the time. And if you feel that and that feels genuine and true, like that is an invitation,
Mm-hmm.
and to kind of sit on the sidelines and sort of expect things. It's like if you've had that relationship, you've had
Mm-hmm.
that conversation, that
Mm-hmm.
is what you need. It's you got to do things like I mean I'm a projector, but I travel solo sometimes. I mean I'm a G projector, but I'll go places without an invitation all the
Mm-hmm.
time.
Yeah. I have the channel of inspiration. I'll go places without an invitation all the time.
I
It's
go
direction.
places, yeah.
It's
you
easier
know
with one. It's easier with one, but some of it, I mean, it does come down to configuration. A projector with a channel of inspiration is going to go where they go based off where their G takes them.
Mhm.
And a lot of times they're also going to speak when a lot of times we can speak first. Very often we do speak first. So there is differentiation. There is mechanics that are underneath that make things different. Um, Amanda
Yeah.
Amanda says it's true. I have a lot of not self friends, but those who stay are ones who continue to respect and honor my change in process. Everyone else fell away for sure. Yep. She says my friends were really accepting of my hermit nature for a while, and I wasn't interested in socializing. And recently, I felt like I wanted to hang out more. I just told them, please start inviting me. Yeah, exactly.
But that you may or may not show up to
Yeah, there you go.
them.
Yeah, yeah,
Which,
yeah,
yeah, that is also recognition.
yeah,
You're going to show up when you have the energy, it feels correct for you.
yeah.
Yeah.
And if you're emotional, you're gonna show up if you're in the mood. Sorry. Mm,
See, she says, all my friendships, this is Sacred Soul, sorry, I don't know your name, fell away the last couple of years because I couldn't cope with the not self energy. So I don't have friends and network at all. And yet I usually feel drained talking to most people. Yeah.
mhm,
I mean, building a network takes a lot of energy. Like moving
mhm.
to a new place, establishing yourself takes a
Yeah,
lot of bandwidth.
takes a ton
Yeah.
of energy.
And it's very uncomfortable at first.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I recommend to like network with people in design.
Mhm.
Just network with people in design, and you'll get a network pretty quick.
Yeah.
Pretty quick. But you just got to let your fourth line body trust the process. You have to trust in your fourth line body to take care of it. Um, yeah.
Yeah. And also notice what's fatiguing you with that.
Hmm.
We get fatigued so easily. And if the wrong things are exhausting you, even if it's one thing, it can prevent you from meeting new people. I
Hmm.
found that. Have an undefined G center, have issues with merging too easily with people. Is that an example of a not self undefined G center or a not self relationship?
It can be both. So if you have an undefined G center, you know, ideally want to be able to put the person on and then take the person off. Ideally, in terms of identity, you might dress like them one day, and then you dress a different way another day. If you're getting lost to the point where you are like absorbing them, you're turning into your identity is turning into them, then definitely want to refer back to your authority. Did you enter into that correctly? If you entered into it correctly, then that could truly be for you. Like you can enter into it correctly and you get you get caught up in that person's G, and they have the conditioning that you need for your G center. Like they have the conditioning that you need, the direction that you need for that period of time. Um, Amanda says, join projector foundation if you're a projector. You'll meet lots of fellow projectors in design. Yeah, Amanda's on her second round with us right now. Yeah, you're very welcome.
I also will say with that question with the undefined G, I think it's very easy for projectors to lose themselves in relationships. So, if that is your tendency, there's a lot of awareness that you're going to need to have, and kind of like developing checkpoints along the way of like red flags. Like, have I started to lose myself? Because I think just projectors in general can do that. And if the person that you're focusing on is not self, like, you're already screwed no matter what, no matter how much you love them, no matter how great they've been for you, it's gonna affect your field. So, like, I think the hard truth is that we can't really maintain deep connections with people that are like throwing us off, you know?
Yeah.
Like you will lose yourself in somebody who is not correct for you because you will literally lose yourself.
Yeah. That's the only solution for any projector, because projectors get lost in people. The only solution for any projector, only solution, is that the other is correct for you, which means you enter into it according to your strategy and authority. That they invited you, they recognized you, they invited you, and then you entered in according to your authority. You had a yes from your authority. Then that person is correct for you, for however long they're correct for you. Um, yeah, because we all get lost in people. We all get lost in people. We can get lost in our friends. We can get lost in our lovers. We can get lost. Well, we all get lost in people, and the only solution is that they're the right people for us.
Yeah, like if you as a projector cannot see yourself and you're just focused in on somebody who is not correct for you, how are you going to see yourself? Like you will not have a good reflection back.
Hmm.
And then you're kind of in this, it almost becomes like a funhouse distorted mirrors circus freak show, where
Hmm.
you can't see yourself and then you're like, how did I get here? And it's like you focused on the wrong thing. And now to get yourself out of that is going to take a lot of work and energy that you don't have.
Yeah. And me and Valia have watched that happen. Both of us have watched that happen. Like I've watched that happen with her. She's seen that happen with me.
Yeah.
Like it's not,
Yeah. It's like, whoops,
even that. Yeah,
focus
even
on the wrong
even
thing.
even the experienced projectors, these things can happen.
Yeah. It's
Uh,
hard too when you really love someone, because that can also be a huge hook.
yeah,
Like,
because
damn, I really love this person and I've been rooting for them. And now they've turned into a bad investment that I have to cut my losses on. It doesn't mean I don't love them. It doesn't mean I'm just going to cut them off. But if I've invested heavily, and, especially with Power View, if they're losing and I don't think they're going to win,
yeah,
what can I
yeah,
do?
yeah. I'm a probability person, so if it's becomes if it can becomes improbable that things are going to change, then probably going to reevaluate. We have Cleo the Hermit. Cleo the Hermit says less social life. A pure individual equals less social life. She's quad right. 2-4 Manny Gen. Um, not not necessarily. I mean, pure individuals, we are solitary. Like we are pretty solitary in our own way, right? And that we're very private people. I'm a 2-4. Valia's a 4-6, so she has a transpersonal personality. She's a people person. I'm a 2-4 like you. I'm not a people person. Um, my body is a people person, but I'm not. So I have to really leave it up to my physical form, leave it up to my body to make those decisions. Um, oh, it looks like Valia popped out for a minute. So I have to make those decisions, um, just through my physical form. which comes down to authority. Um, so trusting in your actual fourth line body to make the connections, to establish the relationships is very, very important. What can create obstacles is our second line personalities hermiting too long, like becoming shut-ins. And this has happened to me multiple times in my life. It's going to keep happening to me. And it's just part of the personality, the not self of the second line personality, where we'll hermit for too long and then we'll miss opportunities. So I just want to make sure you don't hermit for too long and trust who you respond to. Like, you know, if you're a Manny Gen, like you have a sacral response, and that sacral response is always pure. And so, but it does require external stimulus. So you do have to be out in the world to have that external stimulus. Um, so some experimenting to do, definitely. Um, Pure individuality is very solitary, and being a 2-4 is also very solitary. Um, but we can't, you know, we are people that can get things done alone, definitely. But we can only get so much done alone. We need a tribe to really get things done, to really get mutation up. So yeah, those are some things to keep your awareness. Sacred solar artistry. Oh, your pre-Saturn return. Okay, your pre-Saturn return. Just live life. I'm gonna be putting up all of my lives here soon. Got a lot, like dozens and dozens of hours on my YouTube, and that's good. Um, it's a good educational resource, and I have 5 lectures on my website right now. Um, yeah, once I get my lives up there, I mean, they're still on my IG, but when I get them uploaded on YouTube, it'll be a lot easier to get education from those. Yeah. Oh yeah. Like Amanda already said, yeah. I have a lot of live recordings. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I have over 100 hours. There's a lot. Um, but I'll be putting them onto YouTube, which will make it easier. But they're still on here. Um, it's okay. I'll add it back. Um, Mavir says it feels exhausting not being seen for who one is. What was it? Um, feel misunderstood for being burnt out, needing alone time, no kids, not wanting a corporate job, feels like a full time. It cut us off at the end. Okay, so okay, yeah, yeah. So it sounds like the burnout is not understood. I'm just getting this right. So the burnout's not understood because you're not seen for being a projector. You need alone time, um, time away from kids, and don't want to stay in a corporate job. I want to make sure. Explain to one friend's family. Explain oneself to friends and family. How do you do that? One person at a time. One person at a time. Definitely don't call a family meeting for it. Um, one person at a time, so you can put your oar into them and speak with them about it. Um, I mean, that's the truth. That's truth and confrontation. That's that really important part of human design that we learn about the solar plexus, whether you're emotionally defined or not, is to have difficult conversations. Mm. But I do understand it's incredibly hard, especially depending on the family that you have, mm, and the friends that you have as well.
I also feel like sometimes things go in cycles. Like maybe you just need to rest for like a while and
Mm-hmm.
then come back when you're a little bit more sourced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Always had to do that. I've had to do that recently, both of us.
Hmm. Yeah, and it comes when it's not convenient sometimes.
Hmm.
Like you can't plan a rest cycle. You know, like, oh my gosh, my body needs so much more rest right now. I don't know why. You don't really need to know why. You
Hmm.
just need to honor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or suffer the consequences if you don't, and then learn it that way. Which we've all done. I can push. I can just get some sacral and keep
Yeah.
it going.
Just keep going.
Mm.
Lewis.
Lewis, hi. Ooh. Explain oneself to friends and family. How do you do that? She asks.
One person at a time. That's really the way to do it. It's one person at a time because different you're gonna have different concerns to address or different boundaries to set, different personal policies to set, different expectations with each being. And that's one of the things that we learn in design is that every relationship is different. And so it has to be treated different. They can't be treated in a blanket way because every being is different. Whether they're in design or not, everybody's different. And so yeah, that's my approach. I had to explain to my family how I am, and it's kind of my family has I have a very big family all over the U.S. Family in the UK. Half my family's in the UK. I've got a really big family, but I know the family that I can just show up for Sunday dinner because they've said you just show up for Sunday dinner. But also for years now, I just didn't go because they didn't say that. But then when they said that, right? Because I had to explain to them, you're gonna have to invite me every time that you want to see me. That's kind of something. It's like, oh, when they're used to you just coming, right? So I had to explain, well, I'm a projector. I only do things by invitation, and I use my emotions to get to clarity on my decision making process. So you have to let me know at least 72 hours in advance, and that's not going to guarantee that I'm going to come. Like I had to say that to everybody in my life that if you want to connect with me, if aside from a phone call, you're gonna have to let me know at least 72 hours in advance, and that doesn't mean that I'm gonna come. You're letting me know, and then I'm going to get to emotional clarity on whether or not I'm going to come. I had to explain that to everybody in my life, my family, my friends, yeah, and then there's
And
things that I just don't do anymore too because I'm a projector. So
you're
I
also good at following through with that. Like I would add, like you're not saying it and then letting things slide. Like that is who you are and you stand in that. I think it's
Mhm.
very different than someone being like, I need this, and then they're not actually,
Yeah,
it's a real policy. Like anyone
yeah,
who knows you knows, like
yeah.
they're not gonna push you into something, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, it's not gonna work. Yeah, things are
Yeah.
just not gonna work. You're not gonna be able to get a hold of me on Tuesdays, Mondays and Tuesdays. You're not gonna be able to get a hold of me. Like it's not happening. You send an email to me, not gonna be able to get a hold of me. Got to telegram me. It's like, and these are things where there is absolutely no exceptions, no exceptions, and because of that radical approach, my relationships operate the way that they do. Like when you operate according to being yourself, so your authority, your design, then everything has to actually adjust to you. That's the beauty of what it is to differentiate. Um, Things have to adjust to you as opposed to you adjusting to them. But uh, it can be very frightening, deeply uncomfortable to take those steps. But yeah, like Valia said, you really do have to follow through and make sure that they know you're serious, and then that's reinforced. And if you do that, in my experience, and I've worked with close to 1,000 beings, my experience, those that do that, everything kind of starts to fall in line according to the way that they're designed to operate in one way or another. Mhm. um,
Yeah.
it's just
I would,
it's difficult because you have to say it and then you have to live it.
yeah. Yeah, you can't say it and then someone goes against it and then you say it's okay and then it continues to happen. Like it
Mhm.
has to be this is me, this is how I live,
Hmm.
hard line, you know? Even if that means that person has less access to you.
Yeah, even if they don't, even if they don't like it. Like I'm emotional, so I have intense policies on working with
Mhm.
me. You know, you're gonna have to wait. I'm on my emotional time. Everybody has to wait for me to show up when it's correct for me to show up. Everybody has to wait. Nobody
Mhm.
gets special treatment. Everybody has to wait, whether it's session, whether it's class, it doesn't matter what it is. Everybody has to wait because I live on my own emotional time. And and so those that receive from me, they honor that. And in that they get mutated, they go through a transformational process, they get everything that they need and more. Um, but it comes down to that respect. And it comes down to that my own self-respect that I'm not going to show up when I'm not in the mood, that I'm not going to show up when it's not correct for me according to my emotional authority. That I have to hold myself to a standard, and I have to, by living that standard, I can also hold everybody else to it. It's not one of those things where it's just sometimes, like truly all the time. If my emotional system says no, it doesn't matter what is on the schedule that has to get done or how much my mind is screaming about it. If it's a no, it's a no. And because I do that, everything works out. The timing of everything always works out, always does, because I operate through my authority. Um, when you operate through your authority, no matter what your authority is, things will pan out. They'll pan out. It's going to be scary. That's why, strategy and authority sounds really simple, but it's incredibly difficult to actually live out. And so, it's, you do your best. Like you do your best in all of this, and you'll see the results. Like just strategy and authority, having those boundaries of personal policies and really sticking to them, you'll start to see shifts. Mhm.
Yeah, Lewis makes a good point in that it can be very challenging initially with an undefined solar plexus.
Yeah, for
There's a
sure.
lot of truth and confrontation you will
For
have
sure.
to confront, and confronting it with emotionally defined people, especially maybe they don't have a very healthy solar plexus, is really
Yeah, if they don't,
challenging.
yeah, if it's not healthy, yeah.
Yeah.
It's not too bad with me. I mean,
No.
okay.
Well, your solar plexus doesn't wreak havoc on my system,
Yeah, yeah,
It's no damage, which
yeah,
is nice.
yeah,
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 yeah. We need more healthy solar plexus in the world for
yeah.
sure.
But if somebody does lie to me, if somebody lies to me or conceals something, then it will hurt them. My solar plexus will, it will cook somebody. So that's like that's the two part is you're honest with me. You don't lie to me. You're honest with me
Yeah.
and you have truth and confrontation with me. So it's there's not resistance. It's there.
Hmm.
But yeah, having an undefined solar plexus and dealing with the distortion of the emotional field that's there,
Yeah.
extremely difficult. And it does take a lot of courage. I'm glad that Lewis brought that up.
Yeah. And it can kind of feel like you're getting pushed around, you know. I've felt that before when I've established boundaries and someone doesn't want to hear it,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like this emotional backlash I get, and it's like you still have to hold it firm. But some people know that they can kind of push you with their authority,
Mm-hmm.
They've developed that even if they have no idea that's what they have, they're doing it.
Yeah.
I've watched ego people just push, with their egos. It
Mm-hmm.
can happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Correctness.
Hazel, it's good to see you. Ella, Aaron, good to see all of you. What questions? Yeah, feel free to ask us questions on anything relationship based, mainly. It's kind of what we're going for.
The theme.
I just keep thinking about that same, the same issue, the not self project relationship, man.
Yeah.
You're a projector and you're in design, and you enter into a relationship with another projector just because they're a projector, you are playing with napalm.
Yeah.
Don't do it. Through your authority, that's a different story, but don't do it just because it's another projector. Please do not do it.
Yeah. No, you don't know how messed up that projector can be.
Yeah, because
You don't
nobody's messed up.
know. You
Nobody's
don't know
messed
the
up.
extent. Yeah.
Nobody's is messed up. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I feel like I started to really understand the serendipity of things. Like it really just is geometry, and you
Mhm.
cannot,
Yeah.
outsmart conditioning. You can't outsmart the not self in yourself or in relationships. Like they're really, you have to be surrendered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it is geometry.
Hmm.
It really is. In spiritual language, that's destiny. In spiritual language, in human design, mechanical language, it's destiny. I mean, it's geometry, just because it's movement, time, and space.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah. It's nice to have fractal connections too, because I feel like
mm,
in my fractal connections, other people that are on their fractal are also on mine. Like Brayton and I have so many of these connections where like you connect with someone and I also have a genuine connection with them because we're all on the same
mm,
fractal.
yeah, you got to be correct to get that though.
Hmm.
That's one thing. You got to be in strategy and authority to make those connections.
Yeah. Like sometimes I've had relationships with people where I meet them and I'm like, I don't know your people at all. Like those are not my people. Like that's just a totally different kind of
Oh,
trajectory. Yeah.
also that also reminds me, like, because of course relationships is more than romantic. Like, you're like, oh, I'm talking about projectors a lot just because we're the most fucked up out of everybody. In terms of not understanding what we are, projectors is the worst, uh, because we absorb other people, and so you have to be really careful around your projector friends that aren't in design. The projector friends that I have that aren't in design, I do what I can.
Mhm.
I do what I can for them, for sure. I like, if they're emotional, and they want to do something, I'll say, let's take a look in 3 days, see how you feel about it, you know, or let's talk about that next week. Like, there are so many ways that you can support or empower the beings that are in your life. Um, but the specifically, like, if you're a projector and you have projector friends that live an out self life, be extremely careful because there's an absorption that's happening at a different level between you two. Um, I grew up with a lot of projectors, actually, and I love them deeply, deeply, deeply. And still, there's only so much exposure that I can have to them, and until they're in design.
The not self is a horror show.
Hmm.
It sounds really dramatic, but it's true.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah. When I say it's a horror show, people are like it is, it is.
Like when you really see the horror, it's like horrific. Like truly. When you actually are aware and you see like the way that someone's distraction pulls them into their transference and then what they do with that transference and how they like hurt the people around them. I mean, it's like it's insane. Like
Hmm.
it's just beyond, it is a horror show. So if enter something that's not correct, like you're signing up to be a part of the horror.
You're signing, you're signing up to be part of the horror. Horror.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong.
Yeah.
Oh, what's going on, man? Glad to have you in here. Knew that we would. I knew that we would have a solid group at this time.
I like Sacred Soul's message. She said, I keep typing questions and then answering myself with strategy and authority.
Quad rights, man. Quad rights.
Amanda says, you got it. That was me after 2 sessions with Brayton. Then I realized I just have to live it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Welcome everybody. This is Q&A. Topic is relationships. All relationships as a whole. Relationships, deconditioning, all of that. It's a major factor in the whole process. It's really, really intense.
Avoiding the horror show. Oh, Russell's here. Hi, Russell. Right.
Oh, Cheryl, it's good to see you.
Hey.
Cheryl's a pure individual. So it's doing.
Mind is trying to know the formula, and body is like, nah, I got you.
Yeah, that's the beauty of rightness. It's so difficult to live in the world, and yet we have a massive advantage in that we can just surrender to the process. Everything outside correctness is very difficult when you're right. But that's the counterpoint. The duality is like but it's easier for us to live our design. It's easier for us to decondition. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you're 22, just keep going on that. Keep keep rolling on that. You'll have your Saturn return, and then I'll still be here for you after Saturn return. Here for you before then too. But with where you're at, 22, just stick with it.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like a 4-6, talking about network. Your whole network changes after Saturn return. You
Mm-hmm.
get a whole new network. All
Mm-hmm.
of the old stuff has to, everything
Mm-hmm.
you built for so long,
Yep.
and you can do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hey,
Lou
Sharon.
says, I have a few quad lefts in my life and they seem to keep coming. How do you navigate these relationships as a quad right? Are quad lefts usually your novices?
I mean, I do have a lot of quad lefts that are novices. Um, some work in design, some don't. Um, there's a natural genetic imperative between the left and the right, and so you'll see that when you're quad right, you'll see a bunch of quad lefts, you know, and and yeah, for me at my level, yeah, they're my novices. Um, I only know a few quad lefts that aren't my novices. Barb Ditlow is one of them. Um, so yeah, they're most of them are my novices, um, my students. In I guess in terms maybe people will understand, but it's novice is the correct term. Mm, it's interesting when they show up because they can be really, left. The left and the right can be very symbiotic. Mm. So as long as they're what they pull from you is beneficial and um, their agendas are correct, mm, good allies to have. This is funny. Um, do you have a long distance relationship? Is that preferable for projectors? Tell you. I'm gonna let Valia start with the answer to the question.
I think it depends on the type of projector. I think if you are a pure individual, it's it's useful. I mean, I'm not a tribal person, so I don't need to touch you to feel close to you. And actually like distance. So, you know, it's just like fun when you see each other. It's like
Mm.
you have like a honeymoon every time you connect, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We
Mm,
do. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. It's I mean, I'm an acoustic person, so I don't body's acoustic too. But yeah, it's distance for a pure individual gives time for passion to build. Because all individuality is rooted in romantic tradition, and in romantic tradition, a large part of it is denial. Denial, in the sense of the denial in the sense of I'm going to wait. 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 You see it in romance movies. You see that how long it takes for things to build until something actually happens. It takes a long time for things to build until something actually happens. And so I have the channel of emoting, so I'm fueled by emotional passion. So it's even more important for me. I'm also deeply melancholic, and I'm also fickle. And that's a hell of a thing to deal with how fickle I am. And I'm aware of it as long as there's awareness that I am fickle. Um, that's not a problem. Um, so yeah, the distance can be good. Me having the channel of emoting and being a pure individual, I need the passion to build. Like the soonest that I can that I it's like I need at least 2 weeks away. Like the soonest that I can be, like I need 2 weeks away. like at least, I need at least 2 weeks away. Um, so long distance for me is always probably preferable, frankly, for me. And something that Vallia doesn't have that I have is I have a travel role. So I have the 45th gate defined. So I am a travel leader. I'm extremely possessive. I'm always concerned about my territory, and territory is lovers, territory is students, territory is friends. I'm always concerned about my territory. Who is in my territory? It's awareness of possession or not. I'm extremely possessive. Okay, I am, but I'm not extremely controlling. And so it's never been a problem for that. It's never been a problem for the relationship between me and Valia. Um, so that on, but like on my end, the distance can be more of a problem than it is for her because I am deeply tribal in a tribal role. Um, so she can actually she can actually take more distance than I can, but still the amount of distance that I can take is would be insane for some people. Like for some people to say like I'm only going to see you once a month, or I'm only going to see you every other month, right? Like that's crazy. For me and Valia, it's not crazy at all, and it's not like me and Valia met back in 2023. We've been involved with each other on and off ever since. We're fourth lines. So lovers, friends, lovers, friends, lovers, friends, and we have this understanding of each other that that is important. You know, that the understanding, the confidantship, that all of that is important. So distance has never been an issue for our relationship. If it has, if it, it's definitely put me more. It's made me more uneasy than it has her. Definitely. But still, like I said, a month, 2 months is not crazy for me, like at all. Like I'm emotional too. Like I'm emotional. I look up and a month has gone by, guys. So mm,
Mm-hmm.
I think for second lines, for pure individuals, um, I think that space can be really important. Yeah, it depends on the design, and it's just always about your authority. What's correct for you?
I also have 7 open centers, so I like to be alone a lot, and that's just me.
Yeah, she
I
can
think
only
what,
take me in doses. Like I said,
Mhm.
like she said, like honeymoon, because I have a powerful emotional system, and it's just anybody that I'm with that whether they're friends, nobody, no matter who I'm with, they're getting charged up by emotional system. But if it's a lover, they're getting charged up by a specific quality of my emotional system, which is sexual passion. So that like you can't be around that every day if you're if you're emotionally undefined. Like you can't. You can try, but
Yeah,
just people try, but like
yeah.
we're
I
aware
had
of the mechanics.
I have nothing to prove when it comes to Brayton's emotional system. You know, I know my limits and I know my capacity. And, you know, it's also, we just listen to our authority. You know, like the last time when I was in his area, I had a flight out and then it was like, actually, I want you to stay longer. So we changed my flight like several times so I could stay
Hmm.
longer. And it just felt correct for both of us. And then I reached a point where I was like, yeah, okay, I'm ready now. But it was like a question. Are you ready to fly out tomorrow? If you're not, let's change it.
Hmm.
So we just
Yeah.
listen, and we've never had a problem honoring each other's authorities,
Hmm.
ever. I mean, that
Yeah.
would be crazy.
That would be crazy.
But
Yeah.
it's a really different way of relating. Like, not a lot of
Hmm.
people, like, I don't know anyone else even having this conversation. It
Hmm.
sounds really wild and crazy because I think
Hmm.
a lot of people, if they're not with their person like all the time, I think insecurities come up. There's
Yeah.
a lot of stuff that's just not, as a pure individual, that's just not a part of my
Yeah.
reality,
It's just
you
not.
know?
It's funny too,
Mhm.
because like, I mean, anybody that knows me knows how travel I am. Like, I'm as travel as it gets for a pure individual, right? Because I have a tribal role, so I have to be that, or I'm not myself. And still, like, I do have my travel things for sure, um, but it's not a problem, you know.
Well, it's
Like,
without the stickiness and without the entitlement that
yeah,
can
yeah,
help,
yeah,
you
yeah.
know?
That's yeah,
It's
that's
not
true.
destructive
That's
entitlement.
true. Just
It's
don't turn off your location.
I would never.
just,
He has my location.
don't turn off your location.
He knows where I
Um,
am all the time.
that's 40. It's so 45. It's so 45.
Yeah, and I'm like,
Um,
yeah, go ahead, look where I'm at, you know.
um,
But it's because it's not in a controlling way. But again, like I know how crazy this would sound to somebody who, you know,
mhm,
there's certain people I would not want to have my location because I wouldn't trust them to have
mhm,
that, you know. So trust is huge, and if there's going to be distance, if
mhm.
friendship is required, trust is required.
And they also don't have 48-hour plans to do what I used to do. They also weren't an anti-terror. They also don't, they also don't know how to find somebody after something bad has happened. So that is
Yeah,
my main reason.
yeah.
Other than being possessive, that's the real reason.
Mm.
Um, yeah, no, it's different. It's definitely
It's like you get the tribal care and the love with you without all the stickiness,
without the steam.
the empowerment. I'm like, I will take it.
It's just funny how tribal I am, though. Like, it's so funny to me.
Yeah.
It's so funny because because I'm aware of it, right? And I've had to like actually do work around it, and so it's funny when it shows up. I'm just
Yeah,
like,
I don't
Amanda
know.
knows. Amanda was around when I was like repressing how tribal I was, when I was like abdicating from it, and it's just one of the only reasons why I accepted it in myself, really.
Mm, thank goodness for Amanda.
Mm-hmm. For real.
Yeah, I'm very individual.
Oh,
Very.
I've got a good
Hmm.
question from Aaron. Aaron says, as a male and a projector, did you approach dating or courting? Did you show interest first? No. No. I just wait. Like, I always just waited, and then the invitations would show up. Like, I never first like the first thing, I mean, and I never had to like I was never somebody. I'm a 2-4. That's this first thing is that I'm a 2-4, okay? It's the projector profile. So this is something that was pretty easy for me because I already never went into a relationship without getting called into it. And I'm a projector that's been recognized and invited my whole life as a 2-4. You know, I'm a natural. I have a projection field. And when it came to design, and I was like, okay, just wait for the invitation. That wasn't a hard thing for me. I was like, okay, so I just wait. And it's like, lo and behold, I started getting invitations. I started getting invitations to go places. You know, they weren't small invitations, but I waited. I never initiated with women. I didn't do that. I didn't do that. And So the invitations were there. It did take time for those to come in. It took a couple years, about a year and a half for those to come in of being correct. It's not like it was something that just happened because I decided, okay, I'm going to honor my strategy and authority. It took frequency tuning to get to that point. And then once I got to that point, it showed me proof of concept, which was nice. And it's very, very clear to me that it's just geometry and it just happens, and it'll happen when you're not looking for it. It'll happen when, I mean, you can still want it. There's nothing wrong with wanting affection. There's nothing wrong with wanting a romantic relationship. There's nothing that's wrong with that. But when you're not actively like involved in that and concentrated in that, then it can show up. Like as a projector, it's we have to be concentrated on doing our best to live life as a projector, and our study, our mastery, all of those things are what make your aura stronger. That's what makes you a lot more magnetic in terms of the recognition, and in turn that pays off. And I can't.
Projectors can invite each other. And I think even if there's an initial invitation, then there's
Mhm.
another invitation that comes. You know, there were
Mhm.
several very big invitations that Brayton gave me shortly after that. You know, after we
Mhm.
had established something, he made it
Mhm.
very clear, I'm
Yeah.
inviting you. It was very formal. It was like it's got my name on it with a bow. Here it
Yeah.
is, you know.
Yep.
I
Yeah.
think that I also just think in this day and age, people are like afraid to name their desire. Like they're afraid to show that they're interested. You know, I don't know if like it's like power games and people want to hide behind their
Yeah.
phones and whatever. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I'm also like desire led. Like if I want something,
People
it's
are
them.
they're also scared to name like what they're scared to name like what they want, and they also there's also a lack of respect for the differentiation of the other person and the relationship, which that ultimately becomes a problem. um but that takes you being clear in yourself for that to for things to pan out that way. But that's something that I think about, because people are afraid to state their desires, and they're also afraid to state what they want in the relationship, like not just their desires but how they want the relationship to function, and and how unconventional it can be. you know it might not look homogenized. It's probably not going to look, I mean, if you're in this game, it's not going to look homogenized, period. But some are going to be more creative than others. We're creative role models, so it's, of course it's creative. um, some are more creative than others. But when we look at, that's the other thing, is that there's everybody has things that they need in their design. It's really important to learn those. I can't go over all that right now, but I do teach it in classes. Um, so yeah, study, 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 and it's the study, it's the mastery, because it's study and it's mastery. It's not personal development. It's mastery. You're mastering what it is to be a projector. You're mastering your system. You're studying. That is part of mastery. And between that, strategy, and authority, I can tell you that you will become more attractive in terms of energy, in terms of aura, because those are the things that make your aura stronger. You can tell I mean, before I even walk into a projector's aura, I can tell, I can see, I can tell. Through cognition, you can pick up that a projector has a strong aura. You can pick up the success. You can pick up all of that. So you work on those things. Um, you're not gonna. It can take some time. And the thing is, it's really intimidating. Okay, to be a man in a projector and to wait for the invitation, it's intimidating. You know, I, as a second line, as a 2/4 specifically, it wasn't that intimidating for me because I've always been waiting for calls anyways, and people have always given me positive projection and called me out anyways. And at the same time, I've thought about this many times. Is like the conditioning to initiate as a man, you know, and to just like, okay, I'm not going to do that. And the women that are correct for me are going to come to me. It sounds really crazy, but it works. I'm telling you, it works. And there is a mutual projector invitation game too. Um, I always encourage to just hardline and wait for women to invite you, partially because it's entertaining, and also because the more radical you are, the more disciplined you'll get. And when those invitations come or the mutual invitation happens, you'll be better equipped to deal with it, better equipped to get the experience you need.
I mean, you and I also had an established relationship first, so it's not like I just
Yeah,
cold called you, you know what I mean? Like
yeah.
we were already connected and yeah.
Oh yeah, it's team day today, Amanda. Okay, I love you.
I think Amanda's gone. Yeah. Bye, love.
Yeah,
Thank you, Amanda. I
yeah, we
love
did
that.
also. Yeah, we're fourth line, so we did. Like,
Yeah, we were already connected.
yeah.
But also, yeah, it's just when when authority moves you. I mean, I'm G-led, so sometimes I be saying stuff and my channel is unconscious and things come out of me and I'm like, that surprised me. You know, I mean, I'm 49.2 or 59.2. I don't know.
Mhm.
I got a lot of two. Sometimes I'm really bold. It shocks me.
Yeah, you are.
I'm bold. Yeah, it surprises me.
It's-
Like I'd be saying stuff that shocks other people, and I'm like, I'm shocked as well because I didn't know that would come out of me.
Okay,
And then it
Amanda.
is still here.
We
Okay.
we love you. We're like, oh,
We do.
it is team day. It's funny because I would after this I would say, oh, it's team day. I'll talk to you tomorrow. It's team day.
Okay, do you want to answer some of these questions, love?
Yeah, Jessica, welcome. Hey, Shari. What questions? Let's see.
I'm gonna start back. See. So I think this was related to what we were talking about. Could you be in a partnership with the manifesting generator?
Could I?
Well, I think they're asking, I
Oh,
think could a projector? I'm assuming, but I don't know
oh,
based on the question.
I mean, as long as it's correct for a project, as long as it's correct for me, as long as my authority says yes, as long as I have emotional clarity on it, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
There's, it's going to be different. There is between types. Like once the relationship is a mixed type relationship, it's different. There are different factors, and I think that's something that's important is to recognize the difference in type, the difference in design, because it's going to change a lot about the relationship and the relationship dynamic. And so, if I'm with the manifesting generator, I know that I'm going to be guiding that lover. I'm going to be guiding, or I'm going to be guiding that partner. Different from if I'm with a projector. Now, I condition Vallia, and I condition, you know, I'm a conditioner, so the conditioning is there no matter what. But it's not. I can't guide a projector. Not. It's not in the same way. Not really. I will condition the people that I love. But if I'm with a generator, I'm going to be guiding that generator. I see this with the many women that I work with. Almost, I mean, over 90% of my clients are women, and they'll have generator husbands. And so a lot of times the dynamic will need to make some changes because for it to work, their husbands or their partners need to accept guidance from them. So it changes this leadership, this homogenized like leadership factor because of the role of the projector. So um, it's much more difficult in those type of situations than if I was with a generator. Um, and yeah, I have to accept. If I was with a generator, I would have to accept that I'm going to be guiding her. That's something that I'm going to be doing.
And I also think accepting the limitations.
Yeah,
Like
the limitations.
they're not going to see you in the way that a projector can. They're not
Mhm.
capable.
Yeah.
So if you expect them to recognize you like a projector can, you're going to
Mm-hmm.
be disappointed and you just set yourself
Gonna
up to
be
fail.
really, really, really bitter. Gonna be
Yeah.
really, really bitter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's accepting those limitations because yeah, there's you can't expect anybody that can't expect anybody that you're with as a friend or romantically. uh, to be anything other than what they are, unless you're not self. The not self can expect that. You know, but if you are yourself, you can't expect that from anybody. And that's the beauty of what it is to be correct. That's the beauty of design, is to have absolute respect for the way that the other person is designed to operate. And so, and there are limitations. You know, there's limitations in every relationship. There are, like, there's things that are there. And it's, but when we look at type, there's a very large limitation between type, definitely. Um, then that's more so an energy type. You know, energy types work great with energy types. Non-energy types work great with non-energy types. We are cross-planning beings, so we are all attracted to each other. It's very different right now because we're cross-planning beings. Um, it's different now as opposed to the future, and there's no right or wrong. Like I said, if it's correct for me, any type could be correct for me, but my authority is going to decide that. Um, yeah, yeah. Um,
Bye,
those interesting.
Amanda. We love you
Bye,
too.
Amanda. I love you.
Bye for real. How to differentiate from knowing what's not self and what's relational slash childhood trauma, i.e., insecure attachment styles to work through.
Um, I mean, I end up looking through a rib psychology lens, um, which is really that's really deep. Like, I can't go into all that without seeing your body graph. Um, but a lot of the time, it's right there in the body graph. A lot of that will be right there in the body graph, and it does take work to have that come up. Not in a traditional psychology. It's not homogenized psychology, but actually looking where these things can be coming from. Um, I, for me, for instance, I've got an undefined spleen, and the fear of my undefined spleen is failure. So I have a deep fear of failing in relationships, which that can show up as being really afraid of losing a relationship because I'm afraid that I failed. So that, I can look at that and it's like, I could see that through a homogenized lens. I could say that I have anxious attachment. Mm, no, I'm afraid that I'm going to fail in a relationship, and that's a deep fear that I'll have for my whole life. All I can do is learn to get better at it. All I can do is decondition my spleen and go through processes in relationship of facing that fear. Um, so there are other answers. I'm not saying that those things don't exist. For me, those theories don't really hold up for me because there are theories. For me, I can look at the body graph and it will tell me a lot more about why, but that's not ambiguous as to this attachment style, this attachment style. This It's like, come on, people are way more complex than that. And
And
people can
go ahead.
disagree with me. I'm a scientist. I have no problem with people disagreeing with me. Um, but let's look at the results, because I bet pound for pound in a decade, I'll have way more results on that.
Yeah. And to speak to, I think they mentioned childhood stuff. You know, what were
Mhm.
your parents' designs? I
Well,
mean, that was
yeah,
the
that's the
energy that
deep
you were,
conditioning.
yeah, deep
Mhm.
conditioning.
That's the deep, because we end up attracted. My mom's a 4'6", Vallia's a 4'6". We
Yeah,
end up attracted to our parents and our grandparents.
my mom's a
Her
2-4.
mom, yeah, her mom's a 2'4".
Yeah.
Like that's the other thing, is that so
Yeah.
conditioning is so deep, and there's nothing wrong with it. What matters is it's the right conditioning for you.
Hmm.
You because we do also go for what's comfortable. So you could have a parent that was deeply not good for you, but there was an electromagnetic that was there. There was a compromise that was there. There was a hanging gate that was there. And so when you go into somebody's aura and they're not good for you, those electromagnetics, that compromise, all of that is picked up. Attraction is there, and maybe the same patterns repeat, but that pattern is repeating due to conditioning that the traditional Western lens of psychology is not going to give you answers for or solve. And so I'm not saying that you need to do all sorts of different work. Strategy and authority is going to help you get there. You know, strategy and authority will make sure that you only enter into the right relationships, and you really need conditioning to decondition. This is why I say I condition Vallia, condition all the people that I care about as a conditioner when they need it. You in relationship, you can get the contrast of who's correct for you and who's not. You can really learn. Um, I there's things that I've learned in my process that I would not have learned without really the women in my life during my process. Really, like that I would not have learned otherwise. Um, and so the conditioning of healthy beings is just as important in undoing the the conditioning that can be there that is detrimental. Right? Yeah, because there can also be correlation there. There can also be correlation between nervousness in the solar plexus or a fear in the spleen or anxiety in the ajna that correlates with your, it's not causation, but it correlates with your previous experience. And that can also be there. If you ever want to deconstruct that stuff, book a session can help.
Exiting
Strategy.
Amanda's team meeting to ask a question. Can I know more about low sound digestion?
Oh, I'm a low sound person.
Mhm.
Oh, is this is my Singapore tribe. Singapore tribe. Told you I was driving Singapore.
I know you did.
It's so low sound. So I've had quite a journey with low sound. You've got a sound body, so you're always taking in sound, like always, sound, vibration, and you're taking it at a very deep level. And so the sound that's around you is what's most important. It's the sound that's around you. And then when you eat, it's the sound that's in the environment or that you're listening to is low and that you really enjoy it. Um, I don't listen to all the music um, that I like when I eat. Um, all all like on the lowest setting, I'll listen to like Hans Zimmer, for instance. I'll listen to like soundtrack, symphony music, stuff like that. Um, Calms my nerves for the digestion. Um, so that's what I do. It's really a journey with PHS. But if you're low sound, you can probably enter into it pretty quickly. Just make sure that you're doing it through your authority, so that you've responded to it or you've been invited into it. Um, largely because I know you'd have to respond to it. I actually think all of you are 3740s if I remember right. So ride your wave, yeah, ride your wave, and make sure that you respond to it. But you know, low sound, whether it's music, just sound that's really low that you enjoy, that feels really good to you. It's the quality of the sound is just as important as as what you're listening to. So also like your headphones that you use is important, or just the speaker that it's on is important. And then don't don't talk while you're eating. Yeah, those are my tips that I can give that I can give here. I'll give you more. I'll give you more when I see you in Singapore. Scarlett. Hello, hello. Scarlett, you're either up later or woke up early. I do the same. I do the same. I'm either up later or woke up early. Um, let's see. Yeah, any questions anybody has? Um, we're out here. Welcome. Just getting in bed. Oh, you are indirect. Yeah. Sense motivation. I mean, I'll tell you what, in relationships, as a projector, nothing's going to fuck up your relationships more than transference. Yeah. You're young, though. I mean, you're young and you're quad right. So you're kind of already, you're on the, you're on the conveyor belt. Um, it's an anti-motivation. So you're just here to do what you want to do for no reason other than that you want to do it. This is an anti-motivation. Um, go into my go into my lives or wait until I'll have these uploaded to YouTube probably within the next couple of days. I talk about these things and go into my lives. I talk about them in other lives pretty extensively. Uh, not as extensive as classes, but if you go through and you take those in, you're gonna find um, pieces on transference and rave psychology. Yeah, not self desire sucks. See, you already know. Young in design and quadrate. You already know. Welcome.
Scarlett says, I do wondering about my defined head. Sometimes I'm getting pretty self-conscious about how my thinking affects others. Like I'm taking a lot of responsibility for my thinking around others.
Mm. There's what to do. Can't control the mind, you know. You can't control the mind, and it's not your responsibility as to whether or not their head center is undefined or open. You know, that's just the game. It's just the, you know, it's just like you can't be concerned about whether or not somebody's got an undefined solar plexus. And I mean, we've talked about this, Scarlet. You could be charging somebody up with desire and they think you got desire for them. You don't have desire for them. Just like me with passion. It's like as an emotional projector, it's a fucking thing, right? Yeah. With your mental definition, it's you can't do anything but be yourself. So as long as you're going where you need to go and you're correct, that's all
But
that
I can
matters.
gently redirect my thinking, right? More than my emotions. How do I
Yeah.
handle that correctly?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, the mind can be trained for sure. I mean, that's what we do. We train our minds as projectors. Yeah. The mind can be trained. And as the mind is trained, the madness of the not self mind will, you know, it doesn't necessarily go away, but it does subside, except for when you transfer. But yeah, you can train the mind. I mean, that's
I feel like so long as you like are not, it's like you know when you're pressuring somebody intentionally.
hmm
Like mental definition people
hmm
can definitely do that. And you
yeah,
can feel when someone has openness and they're starting to spin out. And if you just keep
hmm
pushing them, you can
yeah,
really mess them up. I mean, if you're not doing that,
yeah. As long as you're not doing that, then yeah, as
yeah.
long as you're not putting your mental pressure on others. Like my ajna is completely open, so anytime that I plug in a mental definition, I do have a hanging 61, but anytime I plug in a mental definition, my ajna is not getting conditioned. And I basically read people's minds. It's pretty weird. It's pretty weird. Um, but I only like to be in people's mental definition that I like that I like their minds because I can perceive so much through my open ajna. And it's so if I'm around somebody and they have mental definition and I'm perceiving kind of what's going on in there, as long as they're not putting pressure on me, it's not a problem. Like Amy and Lilith have oh, Amanda has mental definition too. I love the way that all of them think. Um, Lilith has head definition. She has channel of awareness and she has channel of curiosity. And I've never, in all my years knowing her, I've never felt her mentally pressure in aura, not even through her thoughts. Like, and so as long as you're not putting that mental pressure on, and I bring this up because I'm somebody that can perceive mental definition in ways that you can't without a completely open ajna. So as long as that that pressure isn't put on the other, it's okay. I like that you brought that up.
I think it is important to recognize the responsibility because
Mm-hmm.
not only is it for them, but sometimes if you're pressuring someone else, it can mess with you. Like
Mm-hmm.
I can feel when someone is taking in my G and
Mm-hmm.
they're doing things that are not correct. You know, like people will actually try to follow my direction
Yeah.
when they're not supposed to. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going this way. And they're like, me too. I'm like, no, you're
No,
not.
you're not.
You are
Yeah.
not supposed to
No,
go this way.
no. This is a
And if I,
train, and you don't have a ticket.
yeah, if I didn't know any better, I would, just be like, okay, sure. Now I kind of have to say, you are actually not going this way. Like you're getting
Mm-hmm.
lost. You're getting lost in the sauce, man.
Mm-hmm.
So it's good to have that awareness.
I wanted to see. Welcome. Well, we got a little bit left. I'm on 10%.
Me too. We charged our phones together.
Yeah. What about video? Oh, that's so funny. We've got two 3955s in here. Um, do devices, TV screens drain projector energy too, or is it just people without video calls? Um, so something that I did, all my devices are on grayscale right now. I'm doing my best to have my session days, which are rather intense, because some of them are just rave psychology. And I've got 3 programs running. It's probably gonna be 4 pretty soon. I'm doing everything that I can to reduce overstimulation. And so like my devices are on grayscale. So like if you get overstimulated, like try things like that. Try um, devices on grayscale, stuff like that. But people definitely can. If you're a fourth line, which I think you said you're 1-4, people will fatigue. Well, that's like your then it would be your main source of fatigue as a fourth line. Nothing will burn you out faster than investing in people that aren't good investments. Like truly, that will burn you out faster than overworking. Truly, like that will burn you out. So when it comes to like being drained, definitely watch the people and devices
So
do too.
with regards to your phone, what is it with the phone? And how is it pulling your attention? I,
Yeah,
not everyone's going to do this, but for me, my phone is always on Do Not Disturb because I am an unbothered chick and I don't want to be disturbed. And it's more than I don't want my energy and my attention to be pulled without my consent,
mm-hmm.
So it's on Do Not Disturb. I go into my messages and I check them when I'm ready and I have the energy to read them.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, I let people through, like Brayton. I mean, he is like special. He can reach me anytime. But other than him, no one else can do that?
Yep.
I mean, you can do settings on your phone and stuff, but
Mm.
yeah. I think that's really important, not just for projectors, I think generators too, because they can get into that over response.
Yeah.
They're just responding, 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 and all of a sudden it's like they're not going to have an authentic response if they're just
Mm-hmm.
pushing. So it's okay. But it's hard to like if you have children and you need to be like available for the
Mm-hmm.
kids and stuff, like there's obviously
Yeah.
mitigating circumstances. I guess you're young, you
Yeah.
don't have kids, but life, if life can allow it,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
minimize distractions. And I also get really nauseous if I look at my phone for too long. I'm feeling cognition, so I actually feel like my body can't handle like being on a device for that long, so I get nauseous. So I have to like be in nature and ground
Mm-hmm.
and touch grass and touch trees and stuff. So I think that's really important.
Yeah. 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 You're also your quadrants. You're taking everything. You're taking everything in. You're taking everything in. So just yeah, trust your body because your cognition. You're young enough. Like you're young enough that, and you're in strategy and authority enough. Like through my cognition, I can already tell. Just stick with where you're at. Like continue doing the things that you're doing, and trust in your cognition. Cheryl says, I'm on heavy medication for bipolar, double depression, and anxiety disorder. I'm wondering if the medication affects my mechanics in any way. I don't think so. And I don't think so for two reasons. One, the mechanics are subatomic, so it's operating at a different level. Um, and two, I mean, gosh, this is actually a really good example because I'm emotional and you're unemotional. Um, there's this happening through neurochemistry, and you were born with the form that you were meant to be born with. You were born with the neurochemistry that you were meant to be born with. You incarnated into that. So I don't think so. Um, it's always a matter of authority. I get asked, been asked many times um, about medication, about medicine, and it's always a matter of authority. People are usually quite surprised that I always say, no, it's your authority, because a lot of times people want a different, some sort of a different answer from me because I am who I am and I do what I do. And, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a neurologist. Rave psychology, that's very different. And through the lens of rave psychology, we're gonna we're gonna refer it back to your authority. At the end of the day, we're gonna refer it back to your authority because it's about what your authority is going to choose whatever is going to make your life less difficult. Your authority is going to go with whatever is going to mitigate resistance in your life. The vehicle does not want resistance. It wants to move through time and space the way that it's meant to. And if there's something that's going to reduce resistance for you in society and in this world, and your authority is probably going to go with that. Um, so no, I don't think so. Uh, your authority is what's going to it's going to tell you whether you should be on this medicine or that medicine. I've had my authority give me clarity that I needed to change things, whether I need to reduce doses, I need to change something. You know, just, just listen to it.
I do really like Aaron's question. I would like
As
to.
fifth color motivation, how do you not just go into transference and end up waiting in hope? Well, I like the big thing that I teach and that I work with clients and then everybody in my life that has to deal with my conditioning, well, I included is, are you being active or passive? If you got an active motivation, you got to be actively involved. Guilt is an active motivation. You have to be actively involved in fixing. You have to be actively involved in seeing what needs to be fixed. Being aware of what needs to be fixed. Being aware of what needs to be fixed, what can be fixed, what needs to be conditioned, what can be conditioned. It's active. And so, if you got a fifth color motivation or a fifth color view, somebody walks into your aura, you can fix something. Somebody walks in your aura, you can fix something. Somebody recognizes you can fix something. If there's something that can be fixed and you're shying away from it, you're in trouble. You're in a lot of trouble. That's why we see all these fives, on islands
Yeah,
where there's nothing to fix, and they're
yeah,
caught up in this second color hope trip,
yeah,
or this second color possibility trip. Not being heretics, they're off in this, off in this fairyland. Fairyland is cool for hope people. I'm all about it for hope people. Um, but fairyland can be okay for guilt people too. There are people are very unique and different. For the most part, you have to be actively involved in things. And when you have when you have fifth color in your personality, belief is extremely difficult. I see the world through probability, so I see what can happen. Guilt is probability in a sense. It's what can be fixed, what can't be fixed, what can, not might. Hope is what might happen. So you have to be actively involved. And the moment that you catch yourself not being actively involved, you're in trouble. Me with need, I'm here to not be actively involved until when something's brought to me by my tribe, by my novices, my students, by anybody that's in my territory, then I can unleash hell on something. If something is brought to me, I can unleash hell because I have need motivation. Something was brought to me; it's necessary. Um, but even with my fifth color view, I'm not going out trying to look for what needs to be fixed because that would be pure motivation. That would be actively involved. That's not what I am. You know, but I still see what needs to be fixed. I just it's brought to me as a master. It's brought to me that this needs to be sorted out. So just the active and passive, just that as a mental tool is.
I would also say listen to the sound of your voice. Like when you're in passive, like when I hear guilt people speak of hope, it just sounds off.
Floaty,
Yeah, they're like, I'll just
floaty.
wait. It has this frequency to it. So it should sound more like it's almost like deeper, like when you're in it.
Mm-hmm.
And people can feel it, even you might get the reflection from people, like they will feel you in that
Mm-hmm.
guilt versus when you're
Yeah,
floaty.
yeah.
But you also have to watch because some people may actually want you in the floaty hope thing,
They want you
So
in your transference
yeah,
because they
so
can
you
take
gotta
advantage
watch.
of it. I see
Yeah.
this stuff all the time. Yeah, I see this stuff all the time because they can. Some people want you in your transference because the relationship works while you're in your transference.
Mhm.
Whereas if you were not in your transference, it wouldn't work. So yeah, yeah. Grayscale. Julie, what's up, Julie? Um, Sacred Designs. Curious how you're feeling about this 1949 breakdown in 27. Hi, Vallia. Nice to see this here.